Now,
on News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
O'Connor and Company.
It's 7:06 now. It's O'Connor and Company, a busy Thursday morning. I mean, we're still giving you analysis and reporting on the election results in Virginia. We spoke with Gary Higgins, who was one of the winners for the Republicans. He'll be your new delegate-elect there in the 30th District. Also, coming up in just 30 minutes, honestly, one of the best stories coming out of Tuesday night, and they were few and far between. The brand new Loudoun County Commonwealth's attorney, Bob Anderson, who is sending Buddha Bibarai packing, and we'll talk to him coming up in a bit. 8:35, we've got Senator Katie Britt with her new book. I'm Larry O'Connor alongside the effervescent Patrice Onwuka with a Thursday appearance from Patrice is always a gift.
Good to be here, Larry.
And it's always a gift to talk to this man, Sean Spicer, who, honestly, can I just tell you, every single thing going on in the news cycle right now, including the pandas going back to China, Sean Spicer is pretty much an expert on. Sean, thanks for joining us.
Good to be with you. You know, the pandas didn't leave when Trump was in office, did they?
Well done, sir. Sean Spicer, by the way, you know, is the host of the Sean Spicer Show that you can download on literally every platform available to man. But what's your preferred platform this week, Sean? Give us a plug on where you want it downloaded.
Well, look, for the audio people, Apple is always the best, and then YouTube is for the video folks. But right. You can always do both. You don't want it if you're in the car and Larry's not on. You can go the Apple podcast route, but then you get home, you're cooking dinner.
All right,
go watch it on YouTube.
I didn't need like an Ernest Hemingway novel. I just wanted, where do you want to download?
I know, but you got to listen. It's all
Apple
about
and
marketing,
YouTube.
Baby.
Jeez.
Yeah.
All right. Last night's debate. Listen, I know you have been probably the strongest voice about the RNC's mismanagement of these debates and of certainly the media outlets who call them. Vivek Ramaswamy came out strong, went right after Ronna McDaniel. Was he right? And even if he was right, was that the appropriate setting to make such a call?
So whether he's right or not is a whole separate show in terms of the RNC's role in some of these debates and how they've handled themselves in the election. That being said, the coming out of the gate, I will tell you that the many focus groups that I've done showed that he really turned off a lot of folks. It wasn't just how he came out of the gate, his subsequent attack on Nikki Haley's daughter. It just was, it turned people off. And you can agree with him all you want, but I will tell you the number one takeaway that I got from people either by text or folks that I spoke to was, Vivek just ended his campaign. And so look, I'm not telling you I can debate whether or not it was worth it or not, but I don't think people who are voting for President Patrice are basically saying, hey, I want you to know how you're going to handle the RNC. They want to talk about issues that came up last night about how we're going to defend America. I think he actually blew it on TikTok. I believe that TikTok is a national security threat, and to tell me that you need it to campaign, but that everyone else should be off of it. I just, to me, you can't tell me you're going to stand up to China, but then you'll allow them to use an app that's stealing our data and manipulating our citizenry. So I just thought that was, to your question, that was not the strongest performance. I think I said debate 1, he came out of the gate swinging. Debate 2, he went on an apology tour. And then this one was just, I don't know what this was.
Well, I mean, at first he was comic relief on the stage, but I mean, I think the one redeeming answer series that he had was just bringing some nuance or showing that he was different from pretty much everyone else when it comes to dealing with Ukraine and, frankly, how America would be from a interventionist versus an isolationist position. And there are a lot of Republicans who side with him and who are going to agree, we need to get out of a lot of these foreign conflicts and use our tax dollars here and not there. Do you think that at least that line of attack saved anything for him last night?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think it's a very populist, simplistic argument. And I say that because I don't think it's a binary choice, and too many people want to make it that should we be in Ukraine or shouldn't we? Should we send them money or shouldn't we? I think that there's a degree of accountability that I think some of the candidates spoke about last night that is completely missing. The Biden administration's own State Department did a report that highlighted the massive corruption that's going on in Ukraine. And part of this is to say that we need, if we're going to continue to support them, that we need accountability, we need transparency, we need to know what it's going to. I think Governor Christie brought up some good points. I mean, look, the bottom line is, and people forget this in the current debate, we made a deal with Ukraine in the 90s. Give up your nuclear weapons because we feel like they're a threat to our national security. And in return, we'll protect you from Russia. Well, guess what? That's the deal. You can't say, yeah, but we've changed our mind. They gave up their ability to protect themselves. We said, if you do it, we'll have your back if Russia comes after you. And we can't go, yeah, but we've changed our mind. Our word has to mean something, whether we like it or not. Now, that doesn't mean there's a blank check. And I think that's where, again, sometimes the problem with these debates is that you get these simplistic issues. And you saw a few of them push back on some of the answers, that they're not 30-second responses. And I was pleased to see some of them make the distinction about how we have to deal with some of these issues, but it's not going to be done in 30 seconds.
So, I mean, obviously the big question, Sean, is, does any of this matter? I mean, Donald Trump was doing his rally about 10 miles away. He's leading by, I saw a poll that I think he's leading Ron DeSantis by over 30 points in Florida. Is this, I mean, listen, I'm a political junkie. I love discussions of these policies, these issues. I love to see people communicate ideas and spar with each other. But does it matter? Does it make a difference in how the primaries are going to go?
So the only difference it's going to make is in Iowa, if any, meaning that, look, here's the deal. Right now, Tim Scott and Ron DeSantis have stuck their flag into Iowa. DeSantis just got endorsed by Kim Reynolds, the very popular governor of Iowa. And then you've got the X factor, which is Nikki Haley, who has been on the ascent. Now, if any of those folks actually were to dethrone Trump in Iowa, the race goes on. If Trump continues to lead by 25, 30 points in Iowa and wins decisively, it's pretty much over. The only one that said that they're going to fight in New Hampshire is Chris Christie, who's on a kamikaze mission there. So I believe that Iowa is it. Iowa is it. I mean, that's the truth. And there's no evidence. And so, look, the other thing to remember, and I know you guys have a really politically savvy audience in the DMV, is national polls mean nothing. Because both in terms of the primary and the general. We don't run national primaries and we don't run national elections. We run them we run a national election, but it comes down to the Electoral College. And so right now, when you look at the primary, understand that if these guys don't accumulate delegates early and they can't make a case that they'll be the nominee come convention time, they're done. You saw that was why Mike Pence dropped out the way he did. I mean, he was moving backwards in Iowa where he had planted his flag. And I just think that right now it's even more so become in Iowa is everything, because no one believes that Chris Christie can become the nominee. In fact, one of my takeaways from last night was we really divided that field last night. There are three people in my mind that will make the next debate in Alabama. Those three people are DeSantis, Haley, and Ramaswamy. But I don't think that Ramaswamy impressed anybody last night who thinks that he's got. I think Patrice is right. It was good entertainment. It was some great one-liners, but I don't think anybody serious is saying, okay, he's on a path to become the nominee, especially after last night. So now, does he have the money? Yes, and that's the other thing. He has plenty of personal money to keep himself going. But I think as far as Christie and Scott goes, I think they might stay in through New Hampshire because they can, but I don't think they'll make the next debate stage. And I think that that was their last shot last night.
Listen, I think Christie for sure stays until New Hampshire because that's going to be friendlier territory for him. If Scott doesn't finish in the top three Iowa, I think that's it. Why bother?
Oh yeah,
for New
definitely.
Hampshire?
But
Sean,
it's like, just to do the math right now, he's not even. I mean, I don't know. I think Pence still might be beating him.
Technically, Tim Scott didn't really qualify for the debate last night. The RNC bent the rule a little bit to let him in based on a poll that they reached a little far back for. Sean, can you stay with us because I've heard this. Everyone's got an opinion about what happened in Virginia on Tuesday, and I haven't heard yours yet, and I'd like to. All right.
Oh, love to. Yeah,
Sean
absolutely.
Spicer stays with us. Sean Spicer Show, apparently available at, who knows? It's 7:16. Let's get straight to Jamie Whitten and the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic. I'm kidding, of course. Sean Spicer Show available on audio platforms, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, and video platforms, YouTube and Rumble.
From headlines to hilarity, it's the Vince Coglianese Show, weekdays 3 to 6, right here on WMAL.
We continue with Sean Spicer. And Sean, so you're a Virginian, you're a Republican, you're a political strategist. I bet you've got a pretty strong opinion and a pretty well-educated one about what happened in Virginia. What do you think?
So here's my take. Number one, it was not a good night. Anytime there's no second place in politics. Anytime you don't win, it's not good. That being said, it was not as bad as some of the bedwetters are making it seem. The Republicans needed 2 seats to pick up the state Senate. They picked up 1. They needed to keep the House of Delegates. They lost by a few. That being said, anyone who lives in Northern Virginia or even in the DMV saw that every single ad was a cookie cutter ad. MAGA extremists, fill in the name of the candidate, wants to take away your right to abortion. Not one Republican responded correctly. I wrote an op-ed 3-4 weeks ago that I put in the Hill newspaper. It's pretty much near the top of my Twitter feed if you want to go read it again, warning Republicans. The issue of abortion is coming and you're handling it wrong. And I think every single candidate last night, save 5 or 6 throughout the Commonwealth, screwed up this issue. We played defense on abortion. In this Commonwealth of Virginia, the former governor, and you guys know this because it was something that you played relentlessly. Former Governor Ralph Northam, a doctor, said that we wait for the baby to come out, we make it comfortable, then we make a decision. That's infanticide, that's murder. And yet not one Republican seriously went on offense. It was a massive mistake by the political class in Virginia to say, let's go on defense and talk about a 15-week ban. Every Democrat in the Commonwealth should have had to answer whether or not they agree with Ralph Northam that their abortion is available in Virginia up through the time of birth. And very few did it. And that is, they blew it. They blew the issue, and it showed on the air. And until Republicans get the message that they need to be on offense, not defense on this issue, they will continue to lose.
I mean, you're 100% right, Sean. And whether it's Virginia or, frankly, going into 2024, that's going to be that issue that I think the Democrats are hanging their hat on. You know, there's something that Larry was able to get last night from Ronna McDaniel after the debate, which is about
let's
Virginia.
Play it, actually. Do you mind? I didn't know you were going to go there. Yeah, let's go right to cut 16, Michael, if you don't mind. Cut 16.
The RNC's not a state committee. We're a federal committee, right? Your candidates can take unlimited state dollars and your governor can take unlimited state dollars. And he actually said, we don't need you guys here. So
I followed up and I said, let me just be clear. The RNC had no involvement in the Virginia elections, and that was at Governor Youngkin's request. And she said, yep, we were told months ago, we're fine.
Yeah, exactly. So, Sean, what do you think of that? Because it seems like some of the other candidates we've had who won last night had on today said, wow, if we had known, that's not necessarily, we've heard this rumor, but that's not necessarily what we got on the ground. What do you make of it?
Yeah.
Well, I think there's 2 sides to this. Number one is, why would the governor and, frankly, anyone in Virginia, I mean, seriously, just stop for a second, take the RNC and political races out and say, hey, Larry, Patrice, would you like us to give you some money? Right. And you go, no, we're fine. Who the hell says that? I mean, just stop on the face. Take the issue away and be like, hello, would you like money? No, I'm fine. Good day, sir. That doesn't happen. Okay, so if that actually happened, then the governor himself should have to answer for it, because there is no governor, no politician, and no person in America that says when you're given a free lunch or given money that you go, no, I'm fine, sir. You have a good day and be well. It doesn't work that way. I've been in politics 30 years. If you offered me a nickel, I'd be like, hey, I'll drive to your house and get it. That's just, okay, so that's number one. Number two, on the flip side, the RNC has an obligation to win seats. And if they see something going on in Virginia and say, hey, I know you guys said no, but we can come in and help. We could send bodies. We could be knocking on doors. We could be doing get out the vote efforts. I mean, I was there for 6 years. We would go do anything to make sure that we got a win in the win column. As I said at the outset of this interview, there's no second place. So what were they doing on Election Day? I mean, that's my question. Yeah. What were you doing? Because Virginia's right there. You could have said, guys, take the day, go knock on doors, help pull people to the polls, vote, drive them to the polls, hand out sample ballots. We'll send some more money down for advertising. But frankly, even if Governor Youngkin said no, their obligation is to win races. And the idea that they're saying, yeah, we sent nothing. So there needs to be a little bit of an airing of the grievances, and especially as it's Festivus time, that we could sit down and say, who screwed this up? Because as far as I'm concerned, both sides are wrong.
Sean Sean Spicer
Thank
Show,
you,
available for
Sean.
download, audio and video, everywhere you get your stuff. And one last thing, Meredith is really angry at you because I am now officially just obsessively hooked on Yacht Rock. It's all I listen to now,
Well,
and it is
you're
your fault.
welcome. Oh, and no, that's a gift. Early Christmas, my friend.
Oh my
Thank
goodness.
you. You're welcome. Yeah, now I
my
want to know what
goodness.
you're going to get me. Now you can get me something.
Oh, I
Oh,
got
my
something
goodness.
for you. Happy well, you're not a veteran. You're still in the reserves, right?
Oh, wow. Oh, I guess that time on active duty didn't. But thanks. I'll take my DD-14 and just stop.
No, but if
it's
you're still in
okay.
the
I
reserve, no, stop it. If you're not, if you're
No,
in the
I-
reserves, you're not technically a veteran yet, are you?
No, you know, when you get your DD-214 and get off active duty, you become a veteran. I can still serve, Larry. But it's okay. I appreciate you just negating all of it.
Happy
Happy
Veterans
Veterans
Day,
Day, Sean.
Have a good Thursday, Larry. That's you can enjoy Thursday. But tomorrow, I'll just sit back and take my 10% discount at the get a bloomin' onion at the Olive Garden or whatever.
You know, it was going so well. Why do I open myself up to this abuse?
How about a little something from maybe a little discount from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Center or something just to say thank you. I'm fine. But
We'll
since
take
you
care
brought
of
it
your
up-
doormat, all right? I'm your
Since you
doormat.
brought it up.
Sean Spicer. It's 7:24. Happy Veterans Day, sir.
Now,
On News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
O'Connor and Company.
7:36 now. It's O'Connor and Company this Thursday morning. We got the post-debate hangover, and we're giving you all of that discussion. Plus, we're still reacting to the election results in Virginia on Tuesday. In fact, I think we got a little juicy bit of news from Ronna McDaniel herself. You just heard us talking
Yes,
to Sean
this
Spicer.
morning.
We will play that audio because I'm down in Miami covering the debate on the ground, and Ronna McDaniel last night told me that she was told by the Youngkin team, we don't need the RNC, we don't want the RNC, we don't want your money. And so she had no involvement. You just heard Sean Spicer react to that. We'll discuss it a little later. I think a lot of people are going to be reacting to that throughout the day.
yeah.
So we got that coming up. I'm Larry Connor, by the way. That's Patrice Onwuka. Good morning, Patrice.
Good morning, Larry. You're making headlines, just making headlines. I mean,
I'm trying not to make the news. You know that. We just observe. Here's a guy who did make news, and it was good
Yes.
news. On a night where we didn't have a ton of good news, but I'll tell you something. For the people of Loudoun County, if the only two races they won was reelecting Sheriff Mike Chapman and getting rid of Buddha Bibarai by getting Bob Anderson as the brand new Commonwealth's attorney, that would be a good deal, and that's exactly what happened. Bob Anderson joins us now. Thanks for joining us, sir.
Larry, thanks for having me. Let me say this. First of all, I want to thank all the voters in Loudoun County for turning out to vote. We needed it, and they came through. They did it. And so it was a close race. We expected it to be, but we have prevailed. And so we're very
David
happy
and
about
Goliath.
that.
I was told yesterday that your campaign barely spent $70,000. She had over $1 million of Soros money.
She had $1.1 million of Soros money. And we spent probably close to $70,000. I have to say, I am so grateful for my former paralegal who was in the office with me, Kim Fernandez, and also Colin Sutter. Brilliant work. And these people have a tendency to tell me something maybe that I don't want to hear, which is totally very invaluable. And I used it, and they were critical in this whole thing.
Well, I love seeing gratitude in American politics, and it warms my heart to see it displayed that way, Mr. Anderson. I got to say, though, are we being premature? Because my understanding is Buddha Bibarai has not conceded this race. Is she breaching the boundaries into election denial right now, sir?
I don't know what she's doing, and really I'm not following anything that she's doing right now. But I will tell you that basically when you get to a situation where there's a 1% gap in the winner and the loser, there's a procedure available for a relook or recount. There was 130,000 votes cast. We won by over 1,000 votes. So basically that's within the 1%. I don't know what she's going to do. At this point in time, they're in the process of canvassing I expect, if I understand this correctly, that's going to be done by Monday, and there'll be a certification. So I'm looking forward to it.
Good. Well, I just want to talk a little bit about the last days of the campaign for you and the messaging and the issues that your opponent seemed to have run on compared to you. I mean, she was putting out all of this messaging, fear mongering that the next top prosecutor would be prosecuting women who have abortions and doctors who perform abortions. But when we saw, the abortion issue being peddled, fear-mongered by the left, especially in the last probably 2 weeks. Can you talk about just that tactic, and then going forward, how should Republicans and conservatives running think about this abortion issue?
All right, so you mentioned the word fear-mongering. That's exactly what it was. In the course of the campaign, there were a couple things. One is that she claimed that she reduced crime 31%. Not true. The other issue that she really worked quite heavily was this abortion issue. And I have said, abortion has the role of the Commonwealth Attorney's Office in the prosecution of these cases has nothing to do with abortion, nothing. But the fact of the matter is that she was peddling that as a what if this happened, and it really, I think, confused some people. I think that was and it was intended to confuse people, because she knows that the Commonwealth Attorney's Office has no role in that issue at all. Nothing.
Well, listen, we're going to play it the way you're playing it, which is we're not even going to pay attention to what Buddha Babarai is doing. You are the winner. It's obvious you're the winner. You've declared victory. So you ran on one message, really, which is reverse her policies and get back to a law and order mindset from the Commonwealth Attorney's Office and work cooperatively in partnership with the great Sheriff Mike Chapman. So what do you plan to do? How do you execute that? How quickly can you turn things around?
Well, I was in there the first time. Basically, we were the fastest growing county in the country. We had a case that involved a serial killer that was 20 years old. And what we did was we actually went to the Board of Supervisors and said, look, we prosecute cases from 9 different police agencies. We want our own investigator. We want funding for that. This time, I'm probably going to go forward and ask for multiple investigators, maybe 3 in number, to address issues like fentanyl. And when I say address issues, I mean don't take over anything, because we have total confidence in what the police is doing. But we want to be part of that process of investigation and recommendation. The other issue that really surprised me quite a bit, that has increased over the years since I've been in the office, was human trafficking. So basically what I'm looking at is going forward in trying to get funding for additional investigators to be part of the task force that addresses those issues. And so that's where we're going first.
All right.
I can tell you right now.
Mr. Anderson, one other quick question that needs to be addressed, I think, and that is there was a lot of turnover. As you know, you campaigned on the fact that so many career prosecutors left that office under Buddha Babarai. The problem is she was in charge of replacing them. Are you going to do an audit of all the new hires, and is everybody's job right now in question? You're going to determine whether they stay or not. What are you going to do there?
Okay, everything is open. Let me say this. These are not my numbers. These are human resource numbers. And the number is this. There's been an 84.6% turnover in that office. It's chaos. Wow. And we have to be able to put people in place that know what they're doing right from the first day. And so, I feel right now I'm in a sprint to get ready for January 1, because that's when we take over. But you have to have experienced people in there. So the answer is every position in that office has to be looked at. And if there is an issue where there needs to be a replacement, that has to be done.
Yeah.
I can say this I can't mention any names, but I have been kind of looking at people and telling them that if I win this election, you're going to get a phone call. You can decide whatever you want to do then. I don't want you to tell me now because it might jeopardize your position or whatever, but you're going to get a phone call from me. And I'm in the process now of getting ready to make those phone calls.
Wow.
Bob Anderson. brand new Commonwealth's Attorney-elect in Loudoun County. Congratulations on the
sir.
victory. We look forward to having you on plenty as you try to right that ship in Loudoun. Thank you, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Well, we mentioned Buddha Bibarai and her defeat, even though she hasn't conceded yet. And, we immediately heard from Scott Smith, of course, the man who became a perfect, iconic representation of the excesses and abuses of Buddha Bibarai and her office. And he wanted to chime in on it. So, Scott, we got a couple of minutes. You just heard Bob Anderson. What do you think?
Man, I am so happy. Good for Bob. I'm glad that Bob won. Bob and I have talked off and on throughout the whole thing, and I think he's going to be a real strong county attorney for Loudoun County. I'm very, very happy. But on the other hand, I take this as a personal victory to myself and to my family. We spent a lot of time. I stayed on that witch's butt for the last 2.5 years, and I'm not done yet. We'll be putting together and laying down a lawsuit here real short for
Oh, wow.
for weaponizing and maliciously prosecuting me.
Do you think
So-
I noticed in the last couple of weeks on social media, she's been like going back and forth with you, getting in little Twitter fights with you, calling you names. I mean, she seemed like she was like a mean girl, kind of unhinged sort of whack job there at the end. Is she losing it?
Yeah, she's losing it, but she picked the wrong person to bully because I'm used to dealing with bullies and I can bully right back. I spent over $30,000 of my own personal treasure to get her recused and to drive her into the ground. And I believe that we did that. And it was a big victory for me to see a lot of the Democrats come across the aisle and vote her out. But we had been working real hard to get her out since her primary with Elizabeth Lancaster.
That's right,
That commercial that I did and Sean Kennedy, we turned 4,000 or 5,000, voters just in that primary. So I didn't expect to win. I was shocked, but I'll take it.
Well, listen,
I had people from the media call me, asking me for my comment, and my comment is simply this: until somebody goes and checks her for a pulse, I'm not ready to say that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, she's going to be storming the Capitol for a recount. Absolutely. Stop the steal will be Buddha Bibarai's new slogan. But we'll watch it. And listen, Scott, anyone who knows you and knows your story, and I'm sure most people do by now, your family's been through such hell. You've been through so much. It's great to hear that smile on your face and hear you say you're so happy. Good for you. Enjoy the moment.
Hey, one quick thing is so that last Buddha Twitter assault on me last week, I was actually in the recovery room. I had just come out of neck surgery.
Oh, wow.
I was probably 6-7 hours out of recovery, painkiller to the hilt, and she wanted to start in. The good news, though, is the great Lord above took the battery out of my phone just as I was getting ready to hit my last tweet. And it was probably good that my battery died.
Divine intervention on your smartphone battery. All right, Scott Smith, thanks for chiming in here. I
Thank you,
appreciate
Scott.
it. It is 7:54.